For more analysis, joining us live is aviation expert Geoff Thomas. Geoff, good to see you. Thanks so much for your time. Do you hold high hopes that this time the search might be successful?
Yes, look, the industry has, and I do, have very high hopes that this particular search will result in finding MH370. There are 3 hotspots that have been identified by Ocean Infinity, 2 to the south, and 1 to the north, which is the Whisper area. And that particular area is 1,562 kilometres west of Perth in about 4,000 metres of depth. And that's based on the work of UK aerospace engineer Richard Godfrey, harnessing a technology, if you like, of monitoring the disturbance the aircraft would make when it flies through radio waves. This is amateur radio waves that go around the Earth. Now, those radio waves have been stored in an international database since 2009. They're called Whisper, Weak Signal Propagation Reporter. And this work of Richard Godfrey's has been peer-reviewed by the University of Liverpool, Professor Simon Maskell and his team. And there's a very high level of confidence that Mr. Godfrey has pinpointed a new location for MH370, which fits inside the University of Western Australia's drift analysis, and it also is right on the Inmarsat satellite returns as well. So a very, very high level of confidence, Ash.
And if that is the case, Geoff, if this plane is finally found, what sort of state is it likely to be in? And after so many years in the water, is it likely that we would be able to get definite answers from a black box or similar as to what happened?
Well, yes, what we're going to find on the bottom is things like undercarriage, engines, the main part of the wing, probably large chunks of the fuselage as well. Hopefully we can find the black boxes and they can be recovered. And if they haven't been damaged too badly, the industry believes that we can still read the data on those black boxes. Now, we do have a little bit of a precedent for this from the loss of Air France 447 in 2009 in the mid-Atlantic. We didn't recover the black boxes or the actual main body of wreckage until 3 years later. And when they did recover the black boxes, they were able to read all the data from them. So these black boxes are very heavily insulated, they're encased in several containers, and they're built to resist all sorts of pressures and impacts and fire and whatnot. So there's a reasonable level of confidence that we'll get data from the black boxes.
And there have been so many theories floating around as to what may have happened. What is the most likely scenario? What do most experts who have dedicated, I know, a lot of time and expertise trying to figure this out think about what went wrong on this flight?
Well, there's 150 books written about what happened to MH370, and most of them are nonsense. But the main theory, which is supported off the record by government agencies and people within the industry, is that it was a human factors pilot issue, pilot suicide, if you like. That's the main theory on this, and there's a lots of evidence to point in that direction.
Geoff, while I've got you, I did want to ask you about this restructure of some leadership roles we've seen at Qantas. Are these big changes significant? Will customers notice any difference?
Well, look, Qantas would hope that customers wouldn't notice a difference, although the lady that left, Katerina Larratt, was a really great operator, and she's moved on to the Endeavour Group. But look, the team they've got there is a very, very good team under the leadership of Vanessa Hudson. There will be some restructuring, and also they're highlighting the fact that some staff will lose their jobs. A number has been touted of 400. The airline says no, it's less than that. It's possibly around 200. That's my estimate on it. But the Qantas is sort of battening down a little bit. Their share price peaked at $12, just over $12 in August. It's down to $9.73, so they've lost 20% of their share price, and they've highlighted the fact that domestic travel is softening, and also the longer term outlook for fuel prices is for them to rise. So there's a little bit of belt tightening going on to prepare for what they think may happen over the next 12 months.
Geoff Thomas, always appreciate your analysis. Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.